Alright, hello everyone, this is Uncle Jess. Come on, let's unbox a new product. The brand name is Dragonher and the product name is Dragonher X701. It's most likely a 7-inch FPV drone. Well, those in the hobby should know that Shenzhen Jimu Technology is a major manufacturer, not a new one. It's just that they previously focused on overseas markets, and now they are starting to compete in the domestic market as well. So, I'd like to start a little discussion. What do you all think the future holds for FPV drones, or drones in general? Although the new national policies for developing the low-altitude economy seem a bit like a blanket approach, some companies and brands still feel the domestic market is very hot. Well, let's wait and see. Feel free to have a lively discussion. For now, let's get to the unboxing. As always, let's peel off the film. As always, let's check the accessories first. A screw pack, some silicone parts, battery anti-slip pads, a hex screwdriver, a prop wrench, an action camera mount, and propellers. These propellers, they're folding propellers. Stickers. Look at this, guys. The head is a quick release design. Another new type of modular setup, a quick start guide. Let's look at the main unit. It comes pre-installed with 2 battery straps, and the anti-slip battery pad is already attached. It's labeled in both Chinese and English that this product only supports 6S batteries. Please fly in a safe area. It comes pre-installed with the O4 Pro Air unit, and the sides use silicone pads for mounting. The whole drone looks robust with a thick body and slender arms. The entire side, from front to back, is made of integrated injection molded polycarbonate material. This texture and feel are very different from our traditional FPV drones. It almost feels like it's possessed by DJI. This should be the LED light, and this is actually a metal mesh cooling vent. It seems there's one in the back too, and this part should open up. The SD card slot. Let's check the bottom. This is definitely a carbon fiber plate with a black finish. There's a silicone pad here too. Oops, I poked it in. What is this for? I think I know what this is for. You can mount the O3 air unit either at the bottom or at the front. And this hole I just poked through, when the air unit is mounted at the front, this heatsink can be moved to the front. Here, I see a QC Pass triangle sticker, which is enough to prove this is from a proper major manufacturer. It is the traditional 6mm thick, but not very wide, quite slender. The motor wires use a rare braided mesh sleeve, covering them from end to end. This type of craftsmanship is still quite uncommon in the current FPV drone market. There is also a dust plug on the other end. Opening it should reveal the Type-C port for the video transmitter. As for the rest of the layout, it is not much different from a traditional FPV drone. The receiver antennas use these thickened EAS 2.4 GHz antennas located at the bottom of the tail, and the tail mount for the video transmission antenna, which usually appears as a 3D printed part on traditional drones, is entirely made of injection molded parts. From front to back, you cannot see a single trace of 3D printed parts on this frame. And this Type-C port here must be for parameter tuning. There is even a sticker over these countersunk screws, likely serving as an anti-tamper seal, similar to those on consumer electronics. Well, that won't stop players like us from wanting to take it apart and see what's inside. Alright, without hesitation, let's take it apart. We've done a simple teardown without taking the whole thing apart. It is quite obvious that the interior is similar to our mainstream traditional FPV drones. The layout is very traditional, featuring a standard flight stack equipped with an H7 flight controller. As for the ESC, we will power it up in a moment to check. The electronics are from the brand Dragonher, their own in-house components. And let's take a look at the motors. They are also the Dragonher in-house brand, 2808 motors, 1250 kV. The motor landing gear is injection molded. Now, looking back at the interior, it is quite neat. Here is the receiver. I see. There are LED lights on both sides of the tail, and there is also a GPS here. It is basically a fully equipped traditional setup. Beneath an exterior that spares no expense, it houses a very traditional core. Alright, let's install the propellers and head out for a flight test. Each pack contains 3 folding 3-blade propellers, which likely means it's designed for long-range flying. Let's head straight to the field. Here we go. I've installed a massive battery, our 10,000 milliamp hour co-branded battery. Alright, we'll chat more while we fly. The startup sound confirms the BL Heli 32 ESC. Let's step back and take off right here. The propellers will unfold automatically. Here we go.
After all, it is a 7-inch.
Okay, let's go. Let's look at the footage with OSD first, as it's easier to analyze the model's performance through these parameters. I used one of the heaviest batteries for this type of model, a 6S2P 21700 battery, weighing 940 grams, which brought the takeoff weight to 2.6 kilograms. Actually, the frame itself is very light, almost the lightest among my 7 and 7.5 inch drones, at only 693 grams. So, this takeoff weight means the level flight throttle is over 30%. I checked the ground station settings and no throttle curve was used, so these are the actual throttle parameters. Although I personally don't enjoy the flight feel of chasing maximum endurance, I must admit that long-range pilots nowadays really love using these batteries. They easily push flight times over 30 minutes and ranges beyond 20 kilometers. That day, I flew for 30 minutes with this battery, but I just couldn't keep going, even though it could have lasted longer. And keep in mind, I was flying with a fair amount of freestyle intensity. The power on this rig is quite impressive. I checked out other competing models, which usually use 2806 to 2807 motors, but this one goes straight to 2808, which is basically the largest spec for this size. Logically, the power should be the strongest too. I tried some high maneuverability stunts that day, and it handled them with zero pressure. Even with this heavy battery, it can still perform almost any freestyle maneuver. However, since I am using folding propellers, I am being relatively conservative. If you use a 3000 to 5000 mAh battery with proper propellers, the maneuverability of this drone should be quite impressive. But I think the intended use for this drone is likely long-range, long-endurance flights. Judging by its appearance, I doubt anyone would use it for freestyle. The GPS signal reception is decent. Before takeoff, I spent about 30 seconds on my intro, and after about a minute, I took off with over 20 satellites locked. Even though the GPS and video transmitter are placed together, it seems the interference is well within a controllable range. The drone does not use the currently popular throw-style GPS design, which suggests they are quite confident in its satellite reception performance. The footage quality is standard. The Osprey camera uses large silicone pads on both sides, so whether it is the goggles recording or the Osprey's own recording, the performance is standard. It is perfectly fine for creating content, and I did not notice any obvious shaking or vibrations. For the Osprey, I still set it to 4K 60 frames per second in ultra-wide angle, with built-in super stabilization enabled auto exposure and default color settings. Using this drone for professional footage works perfectly well. Of course, I think most pilots using it for filming will still mount an action camera. The payload capacity is no problem at all, so feel free to mount the heaviest action camera for your shots. Now, let's talk about the brand and the products. G-Park, which has returned to the domestic market, is a drone brand founded in 2020, and they have launched 3 products all at once. The one I'm flying right now is the X701, a 7-inch drone. Also released is the X501, a 5-inch model. The former is for long-range filming, while the latter is mainly for freestyle, with some filming capability. The flight controller, ESC, and motors are all the brand's own products, and the specs are quite high. For example, the flight controller uses an H743 main processor, dual gyroscopes, and dual barometers. The ESC is a BL32 65A unit, showing they intend to target the high-end market right from the start. At the same time, you will soon see a 2.5-inch Cine hoop. Just like the sticker you saw in the unboxing at the start of the video, it should also feature a quick-release video transmission module, meaning the head can be detached. It also comes with high-end and rich features, making it an accessible product. Overall, let's return to our opening topic. What do you all think of the current FPV or drone market? Will various companies lead the market and enthusiasts to a comeback, or will policies truly impose a blanket ban, making our consumer drone products a hot potato from now on? I'll leave this topic for you all to discuss. Here, I'll share a few quick tips and we'll cover the details in the next episode. It's about the requirement for all drones to be equipped with remote ID after May 1st. 3 points are already known as follows. First, remote ID is not some high-tech device. Most of the drones and FPVs you already own actually have this hardware capability. Even if they don't, adding one is very simple, cheap, and easy. Enabling this feature will meet the regulations after May 1st. It is not difficult at all, so there is really no need to overthink it. Third, the actual implementation depends on how enforcement plays out. To sum it up, do you really think remote ID is too difficult for the world's top industrial power? It is certainly not difficult, so a remote ID is not enough to scare away all the pilots. The regulations are indeed very clear, explicitly defining the categories for micro and light drones, and also clearly defining the airspace for test flights. So, as you all understand, this is meant to provide us with legal and reasonable flying space, right? As for the rest, we will just have to let time be the judge. Alright, that is all for today. Do you guys like this new brand's new FPV drone? Okay, that is it for today. Bye bye.